This is what college football looks like, and it's the same everywhere. Good times eating, drinking, and we all sort of pretend like we know what the hell's gonna happen. So even though I'm in New York and not on campus, all season long, I'm eating, drinking, and figuring out what the hell's gonna happen in the games of the week. This is Easy Call.
Yes, it is week 1 of the 2014 college football season, which means it is episode 1 of season 2 of Easy Call. We're previewing the biggest games on the planet in college football and feasting on delicious food. This week it's blue ribbon fried chicken. Let's get to feasting. Week 1, huge games across the country, but we're starting with the biggest one on a neutral field in Houston. Wisconsin traveling south to take on LSU. Love this game. LSU 4.5-point favorites, all sorts of push and pull here. Keys for Wisconsin. Quarterback Tanner McAvoy making the start, can move around a little bit. How well can he extend a play against a really fast LSU defense? The secondary for Wisconsin, very curious about them. They have a ton of experience. They're not great, but they're good. Can they confuse Anthony Jennings, Brandon Harris, new full-time starters? Whoever's going to start at quarterback for LSU, that's going to be huge. New receivers as well. And finally, the defensive front for Wisconsin, brand new against an enormous LSU offensive line. Really good running backs for LSU. Terrence McGee, Leonard Fournette, the freshman, Kenny Hilliard. That's going to be a huge matchup. They need to play well early or they're getting run over. Keys for LSU. Quarterback position, Anthony Jennings and Brandon Harris, like I mentioned, they're going to be splitting time. They just need first downs. Extend those drives because Wisconsin can chew the clock if their running game is going with Melvin Gordon, that big experienced offensive line. Next, X's and O's. John Chavis, we trust him. We love him. He's going to be great. But how well can that front four for LSU get to the quarterback, get in the backfield? Not consistently great like they were a few years ago. Sam Montgomery, all those guys, they need to be able to do that without the help. Interesting to see the X's and O's there. And finally, youth. LSU is young. They are very young. They're very good. They're very talented, but they're green all over the place. Not just true freshmen. They'll be like redshirt freshmen, sophomores playing in key places, but how well can they get acclimated on a big stage against a very good Wisconsin team? I'm trusting LSU here. I'm going to say about 23-17. They're going to cover that 4.5-point spread. You got to trust the athletes, just sort of like you trust fried chicken. Look at these wings, the tailgater, 24 wings. This is obscene in the greatest possible way. We've got great looking fries, great looking slaw. There appears to be some sort of magic dusting over these. Let's just jump right in. Oh my God, not too greasy, which is tough. Fries with, may I mention, a carousel of sauces. Let's go with wasabi honey to start things off. I'd go to more amusement parks if there were sauce carousels. A wonderful time. Second game, and this one is a Southern doozy. Georgia-Clemson. Georgia favored by 8 points at home. Get this out of my way real quick, just because eating 24 wings on camera, while a lifelong dream, probably not the best idea right now. I love this game. Keys for Clemson, that defensive front is salty and so good. Going up against a Georgia offensive line that's rebuilt, gonna be interesting. Big John Theus back, I'm interested. Quarterback play for Clemson. Cole Stout finally ascends to the throne, has experience in the system. How well can he get in a rhythm with Adam Humphries and a lot of young receivers? Interested to see that. And finally, X's and O's. Chad Morris against Jeremy Pruitt. This one's gonna be fun. Chad Morris without Taj Boyd and those receivers. Jeremy Pruitt without really high-level Florida State talent. Honestly, it's going to be a fun chess match. These are two smart minds. Key for Georgia, health. Malcolm Mitchell, what's his status going to be? Stay healthy for 4 quarters against Clemson. I'd like to see that happen, especially those receivers getting into that new rhythm. Next, the offensive line. They have a huge, huge challenge in front of them with Clemson's defensive front. Vic Beasley, everybody there is going to be in the backfield. Good news. You have Todd Gurley, you have Keith Marshall, makes the job a little bit easier. And finally, that's secondary. Damian Swann, upper-level SEC talent, but I'm concerned about that back. A lot of attrition, a lot of turnover. Can Chad Morris take advantage calling that offense? I'm interested. I think Clemson covers, but I don't think they win. Maybe like a 27-23 game. Georgia wins at home, and it's going to be a fun one. Okay. I don't even know if fun's the right word to describe what I'm about to do. We've got pickled cucumbers, we've got more fries, because come on, more fries. That might be the name of my memoirs. And we've got the dream. We're gonna go barbecue sauce here. Feels right. We went with honey last time. We'll just do a little drizz up in here. Let's go drumstick. It's very handheld. Again, not greasy, which is somehow they've cracked the code. Oh my God. The juice is smiling at me from within the drumstick. It's a symphony of flavor. Moving right along, another great interconference matchup. I'm gonna get this food out of the way because it is tantalizing and tempting. These are all fantastic things. Florida State, 17.5-point favorites in Arlington at Jerry World against Oklahoma State. This is gonna be a fun one just because of where these teams have been the champs. Florida State, keys, it's gonna be interesting. They can't choke. I'm really trying to find keys for Florida State here because they're so complete and so good, but don't be sloppy, don't come out stale, don't be overconfident. Number 2, health. Florida State was extraordinarily lucky last year, keeping players out of hospital rooms. They need to do that again, especially this year. The offensive skill talent, while they have a ton of youth behind that first team, the experience is not there if receivers, running backs, Jameis, God forbid, goes down. And finally, that defensive front. They're really talented. Mario Edwards, Eddie Goldman, there's talent, ridiculous talent all over the place. But Timmy Jernigan is gone. He made that front go last year. He caused all sorts of offensive lines to pay all sorts of attention to him. So curious to see what they do inside, especially Des Roland, Cowboys, really good power back. They're gonna go straight at that line. What is Florida State gonna do? They're probably gonna do really good things. Oklahoma State, they need luck. They need prayer. They need to hope and pray that Florida State comes out sloppy and just out of sorts. Big stage, big environment, and just a little too overconfident. Next, depth. This is a huge, huge loss here for Oklahoma State. They lose Joe Wickline, the offensive assistant, offensive line coach. They lose offensive lineman, defensive lineman. Calvin Barnett, gone. All the linebackers, gone. Clint Shelf, gone. How well have they recruited? How well can they rotate in guys against a Florida State team? The offense for Florida State, not gonna play quickly. If Oklahoma State has a chance at stopping that offense, they need to have the ability to come at the Noles in waves. And finally, coaching. They've had all sorts of time this summer, Mike Gundy and his staff prepare to put in a game plan for the best team in college football. What does the offense look like? How simple is it for the new quarterback? How open is that playbook? How attacking is that defense? Curious about the game plan here. Mike Gundy, fantastic coach, should do fine. I still like Florida State here, probably about 3 touchdowns, 38-17-ish. It's just when in doubt. When in doubt, go Florida State. When in doubt, go fried chicken sandwich. Spicy Firebird fried chicken sandwich. Vanilla shake. That's a good shake. Let's get into this Firebird. Oh wow. The spice hits you early, but it's not overwhelming. This is a really, really good sandwich.
Let the bass kick.
Fresno State, 21.5-point dogs against hometown USC in the Coliseum. New coaching staff. They're gonna be points in this game. Let's say that. Quarterback position for Fresno State, still a question with Derek Carr gone, but you know what they're gonna do. They're gonna pass the ball. They do have experienced running backs. Can they get play action? That's gonna be a huge key. Next, the defensive front for the Bulldogs. They're replacing guys in their front three in that Tim DeRuyter 3-4. I like them to be able to get into the backfield a little bit. If USC does have a weakness in their starting 22, it's that offensive line, still young and green. I think they can do things at times there. And finally, luck. They need USC, Fresno State does, to be out of sorts with their new offensive and defensive schemes, maybe have problems communicating, keys, reads, everything like that. Jump on them early. Who knows what can happen because there is a talent gap here. Keys for the Trojans. What are those new schemes like? How quickly do they play on offense? How quickly can Justin Wilcox install that defense to get them communicating? Because there's a ton of talent. You go Leonard Williams, Hayes Pollard, those back two safeties, McQuay and Cravens. A ton of talent, but how quickly can they talk to each other effectively? Next, the offensive line. Again, the question for USC, if there is one, I like Max Turk in the middle. The right side is enormous, so big that I worry about them playing hurry-up stuff. That's what Sark wants to do. He wants that no-huddle element to a more pro-style built team. And finally, youth. They're starting 22, again, hyper talented, but what's going on with the two deep? They're gonna have true freshmen in there. Really, really good true freshmen, but Fresno State's gonna throw the ball. Dory Jackson at corner, you have Juju Smith, what side of the ball? There's youth all over the offensive line. I'm curious to see what they're able to do if thrown into action. I still like the Trojans here. Give me this, by the way, beak to butt. I should say we are pro butt on Easy Call. Trojans will say they win, but they don't cover. I'm gonna call it 31-17, 34-17. They barely just, Fresno State gets a backdoor cover. USC pulls their starters relatively early. This is beak to butt. We got spicy pickled peppers all over the place on top of all of those delicious bits of that chicken. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The crispiness. Oh, there's heat. Oh, that feels great. And the last game could be the game of the week, an SEC matchup, Week 1, South Carolina hosting Texas A&M. Gamecocks, 10.5-point favorites. Let's get this butt out of my face. I'm gonna come back to that butt. Keep the sweet action because, come on, it's beer. 10.5 points. I like 10.5 points for South Carolina, but let's get into the keys. Texas A&M, Kenny Hill takes over at quarterback. He's not Johnny Manziel, and that's okay. He can still succeed. Get first downs. Don't try to do too much on the road in the August heat in South Carolina. You'll be all right with that skilled talent, Speedy Noyle, Ricky Seals-Jones, the like. Next, that defensive front needs to be adequate. Let's hope for adequate. Please, Texas A&M, you're young, you're inexperienced. The linebackers aren't terrible, but that front's gonna be young, and I don't know what to expect out of the inside of that defensive line. And finally, it's the road. Don't overthink it. August, heat, South Carolina, new quarterback, new defense in a lot of different places. Lean on the talented running backs. I like all three of the guys. They should be playing. Lean on the offensive line, NFL talent all over the place. I'm not saying go conservative, I'm saying do what you do well, get the ball out of Kenny Hill's hands quickly. South Carolina keys, you have Mike Davis. Let my giant hands be the guide. Run right at Texas A&M. X's and O's, don't overthink it, Spurrier. I know you like having all sorts of fun, but I like what he's done once going to the SEC, again with South Carolina. Power football with Mike Davis, an offensive line that's good, maybe not the best in the SEC East, but very good. And lastly, that defensive front. They lose the big names, Kelsey Quarles, Chaz Sutton, of course, Jadeveon Clowney. They weren't the greatest all the time. They have rotation guys with a lot of experience. You have to get in the face of a very good Texas A&M offensive line. When in doubt, I'm going against, I guess, the worst part of this game, which is the Texas A&M defense. 33-20 South Carolina at home, starting the season off well. As I end my meal off, big. Large. We've got the signature sandwich, the blue ribbon. Oh my God. And I'm told there are fries under this bacon, cheddar, sour cream wall. Oh man, I love that special sauce. That's exactly what sauce should be, special. Let's compliment. Chipotle honey. Flavored honey, please. Oh, fries with the works. Again, I'm told there are fries under here. This is like exploring the North Pole for the first time, just seeing the wonders. You know how it is. It's bacon, it's cheddar, it's sour cream, it's really good fries. That reminds me, let's do a bonus. Let's do fry power rankings. Number 1, so easy, steak fry. I'm all about sauce landing spots. I want an aircraft carrier for my sauce, I don't want a speedboat. Give me a steak fry. Number 2, waffle. I love cross-hatching, just in general. Again, surface area for sauce, optimal. Number 3, curly. I think it's whimsical, and I like whimsical with my fries. It's seasoned well. I like a good curly. Number 4, battered. You finally get a good crunch in there. Number 5, I'm gonna go wedge. For when you're going big, I like a good wedge fry, well seasoned. It's a big one. Oh, and I should say number 763, shoestring fries. Get out of here with your crispy garnish. I care not for you. There you have it, 5 games in the books, a lot of blue ribbon fried chicken in the books. LSU, Florida State, Fresno State to cover but lose, Clemson to cover but lose, South Carolina to win at home. Hit 60% last year, that's pretty good. Now I'm gonna go fall asleep on a park bench because it feels right.